Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. And I want to talk about this Week 2 matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Division rival, NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons pick up the 31-24 victory over the Panthers. And there's a lot of things I have to say about the way the Panthers played. But I'm going to go through the numbers first. Just kind of, pretty much give an objective view on how the game went. Starting with the passing game for the Falcons, Matt Ryan 23 of 28, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He barely got any pressure on him. And one of the few times that he did get pressure on him, he threw the one pick. So for the most part, he had a clean pocket to throw pretty much the majority of the game. I mean, just looking at his completions, he only had 5 incompletions. So it just shows you the time he had to throw and how his receivers were able to get open. Atlanta's rushing, Tevin Coleman, 16 carries, 107 yards. They couldn't slow this guy down. The Panthers' defense was awful against the run. Honestly, I'll get to the Panthers' defense. Smith, 9 carries, 46 yards. Matt Ryan had 4 carries, 18 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They ended up with a total of 32 carries, 170 yards. By the way, in 21 games, this is the first time in 21 games that the Panthers have given up a 100-yard rusher. Yep. So all last season, they did not give up a 100-yard rusher. But it was awful. Looking at Atlanta's receiving, Calvin Ridley, 4 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. He kind of finally broke out. Julio Jones, 5 receptions, 64. I think they defended him well. So Bradbury's the one guy I could say had a solid game. Just because he's gashed the Panthers in the past, but he was relatively quiet throughout most of this game. None of those big plays that he's been able to get against the Panthers in the past. Austin Hooper, 5 receptions, 59, and a touchdown. Hall, 1 reception, 30. Mohamed Sanu, 2 receptions, 19. Tevin Coleman, 4 receptions, 18. Looking at Atlanta's defense, I don't think they played particularly really great. It was just bad Panthers offense. I will give them this. They did a solid job of defending the receivers of the Panthers, but there were a lot of drops in this game by the Panthers receivers. So, and there were a couple that were sure touchdowns. But missing Keanu Neal, that's big. And then their other backup safety got thrown out of the game for the hit on Cam Newton. So they were shorthanded. They were missing one of their better linebackers. They were missing their best safety, who were guys who were very important for what that defense was able to do last year and what they were hoping for this year. Also, a running back, they got all those rushing yards. I'm kind of going back to the running game. They got all those rushing yards without Devontae Freeman. Without him, Tevin Coleman, the second guy, got all those rushing yards. But I would say Atlanta's defense was okay. They started going to kind of prevent defense, and the Panthers were able to move the ball. Cam was able to throw the ball down the field. Guys were actually catching it at a point. It is a lot going wrong with the Panthers. But I thought Atlanta's defense was solid early in the early parts of the game. Like I said, I don't know why these coaches, when you get this lead, you go into prevent defense. They ended up going into that, and the Panthers started moving the ball to start getting big chunk plays. And they started really coming back into the game, and the Panthers had a chance at a win. But that Atlanta offense carried them. Pass protection, they did everything right. Pass protection, Matt Ryan was great. Run blocking, Tevin Coleman was breaking tackles. The offense did everything. There's nothing I saw from them offensively outside of Julio really not going off, which is something you used to seeing. outside of that, everything went almost perfect for the Atlanta offense. And they took it a little bit of a while. They only had 3 points in the first quarter, but once second quarter hit, they were really able to start moving the ball. Moving over to the Carolina side, Cam Newton 32-45, 335 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Honestly, the numbers should be better. All the drops. And I see that's why I can't get behind people who just talk about completion percentage. And I know there are stats of who they account for the drops. But if you look at these guys, they're not able to get open. So it was about 6 drops in the game. It could be more. I know there was one going right up the seams to Ian Thomas, wide open. He's the backup tight end in place of Greg Olsen, wide open. He drops it in the bucket, and he drops it. Another one, C.J. Anderson, the one pick that Cam Newton has. It's a simple check down. It bounces off his chest, gets intercepted. Who gets that interception? Who gets the blame for a play like that? And I'm starting to wonder, do people watch the game, or do they look at the box scores, or how do they break down the game? Who are you gonna blame for a drop pass it's an easy pitch and catch that gets bounced in the air and intercepted? You're gonna blame the quarterback? He threw an accurate ball. So this nonsense that Cam, and there's a group on Facebook. They blame Cam for everything. That's not to say all of them do, but it's a good portion of them blame Cam Newton, like they didn't watch the other parts of the fucking game. Anyone who's blaming Cam Newton for this loss, unsub, block me on Twitter, because I ain't got time for that shit. You want to blame? There are times where I've went after Cam for poor play. This is not one of those times. And anyone who just wants to go blame the quarterback without seeing the way that defense played, without seeing the way those receivers dropped passes, you're not a fan. I'm not saying be a fan of one guy, but he's a guy on your team who played really good football in this game. But let's move down to rushing. Cam Newton, 5 carries for 42 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 8 carries for 37. C.J. Anderson, 3 carries for 31. DJ Moore, 1 carry for 7. That 18 carries, 121 yards. They did a solid job, but the score kept them from really running the ball. That's why Cam threw the ball 45 times. So the running game was pretty much eliminated because of the score. Receiving, Christian McCaffrey, 14 receptions, 102 yards. People complaining about him dumping the ball off. You were complaining in the past that he only looked for big plays and not looking for the check downs. Now he's looking for the check downs too much. You can't please these people. You can't. Devin Funchess, 7 receptions, 77. He had a drop. Jarius Wright, 5 receptions, 62. I thought he played solid. Not really much to expect out of him. He had a touchdown. DJ Moore, 1 reception, 51 touchdown. So this is one thing that annoys me. Why is this guy not getting playing time? He started getting playing time at the end of the game, and Cam even threw his last pass of the game to him, which was catchable, but it was a tough catch. But if you watch that, he had a good chance on that. It was thrown low, which was weird, but he definitely had a chance on it. Torrey Smith, 3 receptions, 33 in the touchdown. He had some drops. Ian Thomas, 2 receptions for 10. He had some drops. He had a surefire touchdown. I talked about the C.J. Anderson, which was a drive killer. As a matter of fact, the Panthers, it was 17-24. He drops that, it gets picked off. The ensuing drive by the Falcons, they go down the field and score a touchdown. Momentum shifts. The Panthers were in that game. People talk about it was, that it was garbage time. You don't know what fucking garbage time is. Garbage time is where you're getting blown out. You're not in the game. The Panthers were in the game. It was a time where they were down 7 fucking points. In the fourth quarter, by the way. So to say it was garbage time when he got those numbers is ridiculous. What game are you watching? Defense, garbage. No, outside of, I think Bradbury had a solid game against Julio Jones. Everyone else was garbage. Luke Kuechly was especially terrible. Yeah, he had the most tackles. He had tackles for loss. He was garbage. He missed about 4 or 5 tackles. He was garbage. And he's the leader on that defense. He's the best player on that defense. And for the people to not call him out, but you call Cam out, who's the best player on the offense, who really got no help, especially from his receivers outside of Christian McCaffrey, who's a running back. But Luke Kuechly was terrible. The front four was terrible. They weren't able to get any kind of pressure. And this is a team who, they're back in. They got young guys. They haven't been as good the last couple of years. They need that front seven to get pressure. And what makes it even worse, obviously they weren't able to get pressure, which is horrible. Run defense. The run defense was pathetic. Like I said, guys like Luke Kuechly were missing tackles. K'Wan Short didn't play that well. It was just all around bad. Panthers had no sacks in this game. Just shows you the pressure they were able to get. Matt Ryan was hit twice. No pressure. He was hit twice. Mario Addison, who's the guy who's running there the pass rush. Wes Horton probably got the most impactful play in terms of on a passing down as a defensive lineman throughout the entire game. He didn't even get the sack. He forced the errant throw. It turned into an interception. But they're gonna have to do something in terms of the defensive line. Maybe make some rotation changes or something. But they look shady. They look real bad. Like I said, defense as a whole, even covering the receivers. But you can't expect to cover those receivers. They have talent with no pass rush. So, all in all, terrible game by the defense. And a lot of people in the past, I've blamed the offensive line. I didn't think they were a problem in this game. Yeah, they gave some hits, they gave some hurries, but they gave Cam on plenty of plays, plenty of time to throw. Guys were dropping passes. Guys weren't getting open. Running game was pretty much eliminated because of the score, and the defense didn't help them at all. Defense didn't help them at all. And it was a terrible game. Usually I'm complaining about how the offensive line played, how the receivers played, which, yeah, that's still the problem. But to expect to see that defense play that poorly is bad. The play calling, terrible. And it gets to a point where, play calling, yeah, it does matter, but guys got to go out there and make plays, especially when these same guys have made plays in the past. But Carolina just hasn't. They've gotten off to really, really slow starts against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons have been able to put up points on the Panthers when they're in Atlanta. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. The Carolina Panthers head to Cincinnati next week, which is going to be another tough game against the offense. They can put up some points. The defense, who they've gotten better. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.